To begin learning about Bulgarian folk music, it is important to know the key instruments. I have selected 6 instruments that are common to Bulgarian folk music. One of these instruments is a chordophone called the godolka. The godolka is an integral part of traditional Bulgarian instrumental ensembles. It is a bowed string instrument that does not have a fingerboard. The strings are also not all the same length. Usually godolkas have 3 or 4 main strings with sympathetic resonating strings underneath. Another chordophone is the tambura. This instrument is not as widespread as the godolka. A Bulgarian tambura has 8 doubled metallic strings and a long neck. It is played with a plectrum, also called a pick. The major membranophone for Bulgarian folk music is called a tupan. Also called a davul, this is a double-headed drum with a wooden body and is played with mouths. The wide wooden mouth is used to hit the top, while the thinner wooden mouth is used to hit the bottom. Due to its construction and the different mouths, this drum can produce both deep bass and thin treble sounds. The next membranophone is called a tarabuka. The tarabuka is a finger drum, originally made from hardened clay. Similar to the darabuka, this drum is goblet-shaped. For aerophones in Bulgarian folk music, the kaval is very prominent. The kaval is a wooden flute constructed of 3 separate sections. The 8 playing holes are in the central section, while the 4 other holes are in the lower section, but these do not get covered during performance. The most common kaval in Bulgaria is in the middle register D, and circular breathing is sometimes utilized for the kaval. The last instrument is the gaita. The gaita is a bagpipe from the Balkans, where the bag is typically made of sheep or goat hide, and the blowpipe is made from wood or bone. The chanter produces the melody, which is accompanied by a drum. The Kaba gaita, which is the gaita from the Rodipe Mountains, is one of the most distinctive symbols of folklore music in Bulgaria.
The Bulgars were a Turkish tribe that crossed into present-day Bulgaria in 679 AD. Their ruler was converted to Christianity in 865 AD, which was when they adopted the Cyrillic alphabet. The Bulgars then experienced a period of independence that was plagued by conflict with the Byzantine Empire. In 1396, Bulgaria was conquered by the Turks and stayed within the Turkish Empire for 500 years. In 1878, Bulgaria was liberated by the Russian army. Shortly after Bulgaria's liberation, folk music began to be recorded and published. It is stored at the Institute of Music in the Bulgarian Academy of Sciences. Some of the collections included are folk songs of the Western Borderlands and folk songs from Northeast Bulgaria. There are also smaller collections such as folk songs about Russia and the Soviet Union and Bulgarian contemporary folk songs. The best studied region so far has been the Rhodope mountain area.
Bulgarian culture also played an important role in shaping Bulgarian folk music. Through communist rule in Bulgaria, Western cultural traditions were admired while Eastern and Oriental influences were suppressed. Multicultural town culture was considered reactionary, or frowned upon. There were multiple attempts to establish an ideal folk music in order to remove any Turkish or cross-cultural influences. So as a reaction to state-manufactured folk music, wedding music was developed, which wasn't state-sanctioned. There were rare allowances for celebration, so wedding music was perfect for playing at weddings and Muslim religious events and protest. The government's nationalist agenda targeted wedding music because most artists were Muslim, Turkish, and Roma minorities. These new policies forced wedding music to go underground. Culturally similar neighboring countries' music was traded illegally within Bulgaria. So around this time in the 1980s, Bulgaria began culturally striving towards modernity. These modern sounds included ethnopop, folk pop, pop folk, or chalga. Sources of this music, or influence of this music, included world beat, wedding music, and Balkan music from the beginning of the communist regime. Chalga specifically has lyrics that reflect urban life, youth, and the masses.
Comparison to nearby regions. Bulgaria is bordered by Serbia, Greece, Turkey, and the Black Sea. Early Romanian folk music has a great deal of influence from Bulgarian folk music. The folk music of Dobruja, a cultural and geographical region that extends from eastern Romania into northeastern Bulgaria, is heavily influenced by early Bulgarian music. The most popular dance in Dobruja, the Gem Parale, has more Bulgarian influence than Romanian influence. Located to the southeast of Bulgaria, Turkey has been influencing Bulgarian folk music since the 1st century CE. Early Turkish folk music uses darabukas, a type of goblet drum that are very similar to the tarabuka that is used in Bulgarian folk ensembles. This shared instrument shows how Bulgaria borrowed from the cultures around it to create its own unique folk music.
As time has marched on, the older Bulgarian folk songs have fell out of use within the younger generation of Bulgaria, with a relatively newer chalga having taken its place. Chalga has influences from other countries, owing to the time period when it first came about. During the time when communism fell, restrictions were lifted on what instruments and music could and could not be listened to. This opened the borders of Bulgaria, and they began to listen to music from Arabic, Greek, and Turkish cultures, with instruments such as the zurna, clarinet, accordion, and bouzouki making their way to Bulgaria. This gave rise to the genre chalga, from the word chalgi, meaning instrument. A blend of these influences with a Bulgarian twist, chalga has been deemed the new folk music for Bulgaria. For example, the song Hey Nice Lass is actually a new take on an old Bulgarian folk song. However, the new chalga music has not been without its critics. To those people that say that it is the new folk music, others say that chalga music does not deserve this title, as they claim that due to the fact that it lacks real connection to Bulgarian culture itself, because chalga itself has been influenced by outside influences such as the aforementioned Arabic, Greek, and Turkish cultures, as well as modern genres such as R&B and hip-hop, it is not truly Bulgarian in nature, and as such, should not truly be embraced as a Bulgarian aspect.
The first song I want to talk about is Israel Eldelio Haydutun. It was regarded as a very important piece of music, not just for Bulgarians, but for the world. Because of this and the range of the singer, it was included on the golden record carried on board Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 probes. You're able to hear traditional Bulgarian folk instrument gaida in this as well. The next song is one by one of the most influential Bulgarian folk singers of all time, Boris Mashalov. It is titled Zabialo mi e Agnus, and is about trust, loyalty, and betrayal. We are able to hear a kaval and a golduka in this piece. The next piece is called Shnuti e Dobra, and it is about a woman named Dobra who is not married. Her name translates to mean good, so it is a song about how she is going to be a good wife. In this song we are able to hear a kaval, a golduka, and a tupan, all traditional instruments used in Bulgarian folk.
kösno sedela, snošti je dobra, kösno sedela, oj dobro, dobro, dobra nevesto.